All right, so you should have out in front of you your scapula sheet that has 3 different views, the anterior, lateral, and posterior view. So we're going to start over here on the anterior view. Way up at the top, the little bump that's protruding out is the coracoid process, which I colored purple. And then below that, you have this little tiny notch that's called the scapular notch. And then we have the superior border and superior angle. Okay, the body of the scapula is just that big open area in the center. And then this side would be the medial border. So this is what's going to be lying alongside your vertebrae. Then we have the inferior angle and the lateral border. And this is what is called the neck, which is what you'll see in the other view makes the spine kind of stick out towards the back. And then this side here, we have this kind of this curved indentation. That's called the glenoid cavity. And that's where the scapula articulates with the ball or the head of the humerus. Okay, so that will give you a little frame of reference. So your spine would be here and your arm would be here. And this would be if we were looking at the scapula from the front going out the back. Okay, so this is the front side of the scapula, what would be closer to your ribs. All right, then in this view, we're looking at the lateral view. So now we're looking at it from that side where your arm would be. Okay, so again, this is the neck and the acromial process, and then the bigger coracoid process on the other side. Again, that glenoid cavity. Now you can see in this view how nicely that head of the humerus would fit in there. And this is, again, the lateral view. So this would be our lateral border and your inferior angle down at the bottom. Okay, then finally, the posterior view. So this would be now if we're looking at a person from the back. So we're looking at right at their back. Again, we have the superior border and, again, the superior angle right there. The coracoid process, the acromial process. This is called the spine of the scapula right there. Again, you can see a little bit of that glenoid cavity where the humerus would be attached. This area right underneath the spine of the scapula is called infraspinous. So remember, infra means below or underneath. So infraspinous fossa is underneath. We have the lateral border again, inferior angle, the medial border, and on this side, above this spine of the scapula, we have the supraspinous fossas. So again, remember, supra means above. Okay, then next, once you get that all labeled and colored, you are going to turn to the page that you should have. Let me just get mine. That looks like this. It has all these different views of the hand and the wrist. Okay, so we're going to start over here with the anterior view. So remember, this is in anatomical position. The anterior view would be the palm of your hand, right? In anatomical position, the hands are facing palm up. So that would be the anterior side of the hand. So it gets a little bit tight in here when we get to these bones of the wrist. But the one in red here, and we'll start there, is the trapezoid. And then next to that is the trapezium. Then we have the scaphoid bone. Then we have a small lunate. Okay, and then here you can label the radius, always is on the thumb side, and the ulna. Okay, this blue bone is the triangular bone. And there's a small little sliver of bone next to that called the pisiform. And then coming back around, we have the hamate and the capitate. Okay, so those are all collectively called the carpals, which make up the bones of our wrist. Okay, then we have the 5 metacarpals that make up kind of the palm of your hand. And then we have the phalanges, which make up the fingers. So proximal phalange is the one closest to your body, middle, and then distal is the one at the very tip of your finger. Okay, so now this is just looking at the same view, so still the anterior view. We're gonna go to the box next. But this is an enlarged version of the carpals. All right, so again, you have the radius and the ulna, that scaphoid. Okay, in the center is the capitate, and next to that is the trapezoid, and the trapezium is on the farthest to the outside. Okay, then back up here we have the lunate in the middle, the triangular bone right next to that, and that little pisiform next to it. And then we have the hamate. Okay, then if we go up and look finally at the posterior view, so this would be the palm, or sorry, the back side of the hand. So again, we're looking at the same bones, but we're just looking at them from the opposite side. So they're kind of going to go in the opposite order. So now, but I kept the colors the same just to kind of help you. So the triangular bone, sorry, focus. Triangular bone in blue. And then the little pisiform next to that, the hamate, capitate, the trapezoid, trapezium, scaphoid, and again, that lunate up at the top. And we have our radius and ulna again. Okay, so try and get those all labeled and color coded. The coloring will help, especially if you do like I did and keep the same color for the bones in both views. Same thing on those views of the scapula. If you use the same colors, it's going to help you to remember them. All right, if you have any questions, just let me know.